Hi, everyone. I'm Paul with MadCap Software. And in this video, in the series on micro content and MadCap Flare, we're going to explore something called the knowledge proxy and specifically for topic output. So knowledge proxy sounds like knowledge panel from the previous video. And so, yeah, they're kind of like cousins. They can do similar things, but they're not the same. The knowledge proxy is a little bit more complex, but really, really cool to use. So just like the knowledge panel, I mean, it was named that way because of the characteristics of it. We're thinking, okay, you could put information about people or different subjects, technical specifications, but really anything. And the reason why that kind of content fits this is because of, like I said, the characteristics. What are the characteristics? Number one, it's dynamic. This is a dynamic element. Just like the featured snippets, just like the knowledge panel, it relies on the search engine. So the instructions that you give it when you complete the fields, it's all going to be put together, not when you build the output, but in the output itself when the user interacts with it. So the user might search for something, or the user might open up a particular topic. And at that point, the search engine goes, okay, I'm going to display this. All right. And so it's dynamic. Now, we're going to deal with search results with the knowledge proxy later, but right now we want to focus on topic output. And just like the featured snippets and the knowledge panel, it's going to show you the best match. All right. So the best match based on, in this case, the topic that you open, different criteria. And we're going to get into that when we look at these filters. So let's take a look at a couple of examples how you might use the knowledge proxy in your project for micro content. Now, we've said that we want this micro content to be included in topic output. So we have a couple of choices here. We can insert this proxy. So a proxy is just really a placeholder, and then and you'll see that it's just a little gray bar, and it's just a placeholder for this generated content. And when the output is there, it all compiles, and that bar is replaced with whatever is correct. Okay, so we have a couple of choices with topics. We can insert this proxy directly into a topic or topics, but more likely, in most cases, people are going to use a template page, because the template page is going to allow it to display in multiple topics, maybe even all topics. And so that's what we're going to do in this example. We're going to work with a template page. Go to the Content Explorer, and down here under Resources, Template Pages, I got a couple of template pages. This one, the home page, is set up in this project it just relates to the home topic right here. But all the other topics are going to use this template page. And so a template page lets you provide additional content or generated, things around the topic body, the top regular topic content. So in this one, you can see I've got a breadcrumbs proxy. That's the "you are here" thing, in the TOC. You've navigated, and here's the topic, and it shows you exactly at the top. And then the topic body proxy that's just your regular content. So we want to insert another proxy in here, and you need to decide, where do you want it? You could display it anywhere. I could display it directly above the topic body proxy if I want, or below it. But I want to do something different. I want to display it to the side, because the topic might be really long, and then you're kind of missing out on the micro content if you have to go all the way to the bottom. So I am going to use a responsive layout, just like I did in a previous video. It's just that we're going to use it here. Now I am going to open up my, let's see, under styles, responsive layouts. And hopefully you watched that other video and you know a little bit about these responsive layouts. And I'm going to use this one right here because it's going to allow me to have 2/3 of the space on the left, 1/3 on the right. And you can create other configurations. You might want more space on the left and or less space on the left and more space on the right. You might want your proxy on the left and your content on the right. You know, it's up to you. So I've created this thing, and now I can get rid of this window pane. And I want my topic body proxy to be on the left side. So I just drag it down there. I'm going to get rid of this placeholder text in here. I'm going to press enter a couple of times because I'm actually going to end up inserting a couple of proxies in here and get rid of that cell text. So now I'm ready to insert my proxy into this cell. And so what happens is, again, with the responsive layout, if you're looking at it on a big screen, maybe even a tablet, the topic content's going to be on the left and the micro content on the right. But once you get down to mobile size, there's not enough space. So the micro content will flip and it'll be underneath the regular body content. Okay, so I'm going to go to the insert ribbon, select proxy. And then here I come down and I'm going to select knowledge proxy. You can see here are these 3 micro content proxies, and I want knowledge proxy. It opens up this dialog. Now, I could give it a title. You don't have to. And all that means is that's text that will show up at the top of your micro content when it's generated. Although it also will show up on your gray bar. So it'll let you know what that proxy is all about, which might be useful if you have like multiple knowledge proxies in here. What's this one have to deal with? What's that one have to deal with? And there is a way in the skin to hide the title from the output, but you know, then it will remain on the bar in here. I'm not going to go through that in this series. Just wanted to let you know about it. Now, let's just leave this one empty for this example. We're not going to supply it. We're also not going to select a skin file. I'm going to get into this later in a later video series when we talk about the skins and skin components. And then this checkbox right here, this has to do with single sourcing your micro content. And I mentioned that we have another video for that later in this series on single sourcing and micro content. And there's different ways to do it. And one way is with a style sheet. So if you wanted your micro content to look one way and the full topic to look a different way, and you wanted that incorporated here, you would select this, but we're just going to leave it deselected here because we got enough to focus on. Now, we got 2 filters. Whereas in the videos on featured snippets and knowledge panel, there was just one initial filter, and that made it simple, but you could only do so much with it. Now we've got these 2 filters. First of all, this one is a lot like the ones that you saw for featured snippets and knowledge panel. You can select all micro content files, specific ones, or do it with meta tags. Okay. And then the second one is how micro content is included. And you can see the options are different. Topic title, search query, meta tag value, again, another meta tag thing, and custom text. So what is going on here? All right. I'm going to give you an analogy. Hopefully it's not a bad analogy. It helps me. So I'm going to give it to you. So this is something that I thought of. I follow sports, and even if you're not a sports fan, you don't know anything about it, I think this will still make sense. So think of American football, all right? And in American football, what happens is before the season starts, you got all these guys trying to make the team, right? You start out with 90 guys. That's a lot of guys. Okay. And in the course of the season, you know, getting ready for the season, they have to decide who's going to make the team. Some people aren't going to make the team, and they cut it down to 53 guys. So the rest of the guys don't make it. they're just gone. You're just saying, yeah, thanks for trying out, but these other guys were better actually. And so that's kind of how I think of this first field. What you're doing is you're just limiting what can go in. And we saw that in the previous videos. All right. This second field, it is the season starts. You got 53 guys on the team. And then on game day, you can only put 11 guys on the field. Not all 53 guys can be on the field at once with the other team with their 53. Actually, it'd be kind of fun to watch, but that would be chaos. And so only 11 guys can make it, can be on the field for any particular play. And there's lots of plays going on, but they switch these players out. How do you decide which 11 guys are on the field during a particular play for your team? Well, some guys are better at other things. Some guys play offense. Some guys play defense. Some guys might be injured. There's all these factors. And that is how I think about this second field. First field, I've cut down the possibilities. And the second field is, all right, in this circumstance, when somebody opens up this topic, or if I'm doing this in search, if they search for this thing, this is what shows up in this circumstance. So that's how I think about it. Now, just looking at this at a glance, you don't know yet what these do, but we're going to work through these. Okay, hopefully that analogy helps you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start in this exercise. My purpose in this example is I'm thinking, all right, I've got some authors in this project, and depending on the topic, I want to display an author profile. I've got micro content set up for 3 different authors, Emily, Jeff, and Maya. And if one of them has been writing a particular topic, want their information to show up. So first of all, I'm going to limit the possibilities, and I'm going to say only include micro content from this file, the author's micro content file, where the information on those 3 authors is. Now, what do I do next? I am actually going to use the meta tag. And again, hopefully you watched the meta tag video series. And in this case, and I'll show you the meta tags here in a second. These are meta tags that I've created in the project. They're already set. And one of them is called authors. And I'm going to select that. And I'm going to click OK. And it adds my proxy, the bar right there. And I'll click save. Now, about the those meta tags and the topics, because we have to connect these things. We've got micro content, and we've got topics, and we've got meta tags that we need to consider. Okay, so meta tags here in the project organizer under advanced, I created a meta tag set called general. And within that, I created several meta tags in here. One of them is called authors, and that's what I selected in my proxy. And under that, there are 3 possibilities. There's Emily, Jeff, and Maya. Okay, so I'm tying the proxy to this meta tag. All right, I also need to tie the topics to the meta tags. And I actually pretty sure I already did that. If I go into breeds and I right click and select Australian Shepherd and select properties, expand this on the meta tags tab, come down, I associated that topic with Maya. Maya is the one responsible for that topic. She's connected to that. And then Beagles, I have connected a different author in here, Jeff. And Boxers, I have selected Emily right there. Now, if I went into the properties for any of the other topics in this folder, I don't think I've got authors selected for them. I think there are in the training folder and the topics in there, but we're just focusing on these. So I've set this up, and now we can build our output and see what happens. So let's build that first HTML target. And once it's done, we'll open it up. It's done. Let's check it out. Let's open it. Now, instead of searching for something, we put it in the topic template, that proxy. So it has to do with topics. So let's come over here to dog breeds, open up Australian Shepherds, and there is Maya's information right there. And this particular container, a knowledge proxy, by default, is using this truncated view mode. And that's why you get this arrow in here. So it's using up all the space. And so we have to click that to see more. Click Beagles, and we see Jeff in here. Select Boxers, and we see Emily. Select Bulldogs, we don't see anything, just empty space, for any micro content, but we don't see, we don't see anything because we didn't associate an author with that. So that is the first example, author profiles, specifying only one micro content file and using our meta tags to put it together. And now we're going to do another example where we show something a bit different. So what I want to do in this next example is use the knowledge proxy, not for the authors, but to display some video links that I've already set up in a micro content file in here. Open up micro content, and we've got these YouTube video links in here. You've already seen, this one make an appearance, and I've got a couple of others. So that's the micro content file that we're dealing with. And I want that content to show next to certain topics, but we're just going to use a couple of different options to do it this time. So let's go back to our template page. We've got our knowledge proxy in here, and we're going to keep this one. We can have, however many we want, and we'll keep this first one, but let's make a change to it. As I mentioned before, I thought I do have in this training folder more than one author selected. So we're still going to deal with that author profile example. You can see I selected Emily and Jeff on the folder. And so all of these topics under here have two authors. But when I inserted this proxy, I told it only give me one result. All right, so I'm going to increase this to 3 because I've got 3 authors, 3 potential authors that could show. So I'm just going to do that. And now I'm going to insert below this a second proxy on my insert ribbon. Come here, and I will choose knowledge proxy. And again, let's not include a title, and we're going to skip down here. All right, so first filter, what do we want to do? Well, again, we want to show those YouTube videos. Once again, I'm not going to select the micro content with meta tags option for the first filter, actually in any of these. And the reason is I actually just think it's simpler to choose an entire micro content file. This is explained in the help. There's an example in the tutorial in the help, but I'm just going to focus on this one. It's very, very simple. And I am going to choose my YouTube videos in here. All right, so now what do I do? Well, I've got these options in here. I've used the meta tag value. I'm going to use topic title this time. And yeah, I know it's kind of goofy when you think the search engine's doing this and you're not even doing searches, but it's treating, for example, the first knowledge proxy, it was using the meta tags. It was thinking of those as the search terms, and now it's looking at the topic title. And when I say topic title, talking about behind the scenes in a topic, in the head tag, there is a title tag, and Flare will provide this automatically unless you tell it otherwise, and it'll be the first heading text in there. You'll see what I mean here in a second, but we're going to keep it on topic title, and I'll click OK, and I'll save this. So we have these topics over here on training exercises, and this is what it's going to tap into. It's going to look at rollover, and you see the text right there, and sit is similar. Okay, and stay. The thing is, it's actually what it's drawing from is in the properties. You go to topic properties, there's topic title, and there's nothing in there, and it says always use the first topic heading. So it's automatically going to do that. But I could type something else in here, and if I did, it would use that. All right. So now let's build the output once again, and let's see the results. The output's finished. We'll open it. All right. Now what we want to do is go to those topics that I had just shown you. And they are these training exercises. You can see that now I get 2 authors because I set the maximum to 3. And so both of them show there, but nothing else shows because this doesn't match any of our micro content. Our micro content is rollover, sit, and stay. If I click on rollover, not only do I get both authors in there, but I come down and there is the video. And if I click on sit, I get a different video down here. And stay has its video. So once again, going back to the project, so what we did was we looked at those topic titles, and also we matched them with the phrases in here. So remember, knowledge proxy is dynamic, and what it's looking at is your phrase. Is the phrase close enough? And we got rollover, sit, and stay. It was a good enough match. It linked these things together, and it showed it based on that proxy. So there you go. There's our first proxy. It was definitely more steps, but you could see the possibilities, what we could do with it. And hopefully, you know, the wheels are spinning in your head and you're thinking of different ideas, things that you could do. So now we're going to move on to the next video and have more proxy fun and see what else we can, what other trouble we can get ourselves into.